The Los Angeles Lakers finally got Luka Doncic, his franchise big man, and the price was controversial to say the least. 2 unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, swaps in 2028 and 2030, and a 4-year $130 million deal to make Walker Kessler the center of the future. Upon this news going live, hordes of people would flood the streets with tweets talking about how Danny Ainge has done it again, with people highlighting that Danny Ainge managed to get more from the Lakers for Walker Kessler than Nico Harrison got from the Lakers for Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic was traded for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and one 2029 first-round pick. And then Davis was traded again for Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley III, 2 firsts, and 3 seconds. So this framing does leave something to be desired, and it really is an apples to oranges comparison when it comes down to it. But I do understand the frustration when it comes to this trade, and that frustration is because the Lakers just maxed out another credit card, and while they did get an incredibly impactful player in Walker Kessler back, they were already in debt. Per Brett Siegel, the Lakers now have no tradable first-round picks over the next 7 years, and have committed $475 million to Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and Walker Kessler. This kind of commitment is the kind of commitment that people get fired over if it doesn't work out. I know that Pelinka is the same person who pulled off one of the greatest heists of all time in bringing Luka Doncic to Los Angeles, and something like that should be able to get you a lifetime contract. But in this cutthroat league, even pulling off the unthinkable only buys you so much time. Pelinka has put a lot of faith in Walker Kessler, and I understand why he did. When Luka Doncic tells you to go get him a center, and you're convinced that Kessler is that missing piece, what are you going to do? Not get him that center? It's not like this was Anthony Davis asking. When Luka asks, you get him a center. The only reason that I'm trolling like this is because this man on X posted that Anthony Davis practically begged Rob Pelinka to get him a center alongside him for years. But Rob didn't budge. AD got backdoored, Bron Loki got backdoored, and now Pelinka wants to be a competent GM now that the duo that won him a championship is gone. You can't make this stuff up. LOL. And Anthony Davis just thought that this post was the funniest thing ever. This man was laughing strictly out of pain though, because this was literally him ahead of getting traded.
What more can be done with this roster? Are you satisfied with the roster? Do you feel like you guys need some more here?
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having a big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight. I'm at the 5 and I'm at the 4. I think our 19-20 team was like the perfect construction of a team.
The mad part is that he didn't even say anything crazy. You just know that he hates Rob Pelinka's guts. The podcast run that Anthony Davis and LeBron James are going to go on when they retire is about to be generational. But I do think that there are some pieces about this entire situation that some people are missing. Now, before we go any further and really deep dive into this one, if you are enjoying the content, then be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I know that it all seems small, but it all goes a long way in supporting the channel. One of the big reasons I land on, yeah, they paid a lot, but hey, they got their guy, is that for years, Luka was grabbing almost any center, sticking him in a screen, and making him look like a real threat. When you give Luka actual talent at that position, it changes everything. With a real center rotation, Luka turned the Mavericks into a contender. Derek Lively got there through the lottery, and Daniel Gafford came in at the 2024 trade deadline, and nothing was the same. With these additions, they won 16 of their last 20 games to close the regular season, and by the time that the playoffs came around, everybody knew that they meant business. With their vertical spacing being one of their most dangerous weapons, Luka would come off of the screen, the defense would lean one way, and before the low man could even finish making his decision, the ball was already floating over his head. Through the first 17 games of that playoff run, Dallas attempted 67 lob dunks and finished 54 of them. Luka was putting the defense in a blender, and every wrong guess came with a 7-footer hanging on the rim. The centers helped to cover for Luka's defensive deficiencies, as Luka helped to cover for their offensive ones. The math was so simple that a rock could have done it. This was something that went together better than peanut butter and jelly, and we all know how good that goes together. Dallas had a beautiful thing before messing it up, and Los Angeles wanted what they had, and so did Luka. Per Dan Woik of the LA Times, shortly after the Lakers made the move, they had a meeting with Luka to talk about the kind of center that he preferred, and he wanted an athletic screener who was a lob threat. This is why shortly after Luka left Texas, that the Lakers tried to push some assets in and swing a trade for Mark Williams. That trade falling apart led to the Lakers relying on Jackson Hayes more than they wanted to before that whole playoff debacle where JJ Redick didn't want to play him. Their next attempt at remedying this situation, if you even want to call it that, because he sort of just fell into their lap, was bringing in DA, who was solid this past season relative to his contract. But when the Lakers started calling him their X Factor and saying things like their season depends on him, that's when I really started to feel like this whole operation might be cooked. This offseason, the Lakers put an emphasis on never having to do anything like this again, with Dave McMenamin saying that his message to the Lakers front office was clear. He wanted an A-list center. And the Lakers seem committed to have this at the top of their priority list, even over retaining LeBron James, who eventually announced his departure. The Lakers probably had some idea that LeBron James wasn't going to be returning after prioritizing their search for a center over him. Then again, maybe they didn't, because he didn't completely shut the door on returning until Bronny's contract became fully guaranteed. Once that contract became guaranteed, we got that report from Shams that said that LeBron James will continue his NBA career for the 26-27 season, and that he has informed the Lakers that the franchise can move on without him because he will play elsewhere. Rich Paul and LeBron James had to be feeling like some sort of chess grandmasters after pulling that one off. Maybe the Lakers thought that they still had a chance to keep him, but either way, once Luka made it clear that the big man spot had to be fixed, that meant that Rob Pelinka didn't really have the luxury of being cute about things anymore. DeAndre Ayton opting in was not going to calm anybody down, and with no due respect, Jackson Hayes getting a Slovenian passport just to keep catching Luka's lobs in the summer was not the thing keeping Luka sold on the Lakers' big man rotation either. Crazy that he is in Utah now. And it's also crazy that Ayton just got traded to Washington for Jaden Hardy and 2 second-round picks. But the front court needed an upgrade, and at the expense of LeBron James, the search was on. In a recent Lakers video, I got into an idea that Brian Windhorst floated, and that idea was that the Los Angeles Lakers could have real interest in trading for Jared Allen. In that scenario, LeBron headed back to Cleveland in the deal, and Allen, one of the premier defensive bigs in the league, would have came down to LA. The quote, A-list big that the Lakers actually landed though was not Allen, and it was not Jalen Duren either, who they had been linked to for weeks. It was Walker Kessler, the guy I already brought up, and Utah letting him go is the part that I didn't see coming. We know why they did though. Per Tim McMahon, the Jazz felt that they had made a fair offer of 5 years, $140 million to Kessler, but Kessler's reps were adamant that it was below the market value, and they proved to be right, as Kessler got a 4-year, $130 million deal. To clear that up a little bit, the Jazz offered $28 million per year, and the Lakers offered $32.5 million per year. That might not seem like too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things, but with the Lakers' offer, Danny Ainge saw the opportunity to cash in, and he did. Look at this ridiculous run that Danny Ainge has been on. Per Data Baller, after the Walker Kessler trade, the Jazz would effectively turn Rudy Gobert plus Donovan Mitchell into Lauri Markkanen, Yusuf Nurkic, 9 first-round picks, 5 first-round pick swaps, and several second-round picks. And one of those first-round picks has already turned into Keontae George. That's crazy. What a coincidence that I'm saying this after the Celtics recently got Paul George back for Jaylen Brown. But just consider this a teaser for that video. I was scared of the Utah Jazz before the Kessler trade, and after the Kessler trade, I'm still scared of them. And now they have even more draft capital to do some damage. We always talk about OKC, but what about Utah? The part of all of this that really stings for the Lakers is that they had to give up assets to land Walker Kessler, who was a restricted free agent. I am not going to let you guys forget this, but this is a team that has no tradable first for the next 7 years. But this is the route that they chose to go. Ramona Shelburne put it beautifully. A team has to be willing to pay a premium for a restricted free agent, either by going over the market value or structuring a deal in a way that the current team will struggle to match. Or, in the Lakers' case, with Walker Kessler, by giving up assets in a sign and trade to ensure that the player is yours. Last season, Kessler put up 14.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.4 blocks, and 1.4 steals a night. But that was a 5-game sample size, so it doesn't tell you too much. Go back a year, and across 58 games, He went for 11.1 points, 12.2 rebounds, 1.7 assists, and 2.4 blocks on 66% from the field. A center shooting 66% is a center who never takes a shot that he has not already earned. And he was doing this as a full-time double-double guy who erased everything at the rim. Now, sit with who was feeding him. His best creators in Utah were Keontae George and Isaiah Collier. Collier is a very solid passer in my opinion, but it is not hyperbole to say that neither of those guys lives in the same universe as Luka Doncic when it comes to setting the table. Kessler was posting those numbers off the scraps of a young backcourt still trying to figure out how to run an offense. So if he was already a double-double machine and one of the best rim protectors alive in that situation, just think about what he could do in Los Angeles with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. Next to Luka, the game slows down for him. He does not have to be some sort of creator or a guy that you run sets for. He just has to be the hyper-efficient version of himself that he already is, except now, the easy looks that were scarce in Utah get delivered to his front door like some Uber Eats. That is why the Lakers did it. The price was insane, but the fit was clean. This was them betting that Luka would not just make Kessler better, but that Luka would make the entire concept of Walker Kessler look more valuable than it ever got to be in Utah, while Kessler would give Luka that anchoring that he missed from Dallas. And Kessler is definitely going to need to have a Rudy Gobert sort of impact on defense out in Los Angeles with the way that things are looking. But we'll have to break that down soon in another video, so subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss that. I saw people get irrational about Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Jordan because of Luka Doncic. I saw people get irrational about Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber because of Luka Doncic. I am a little scared of what people are about to become with Walker Kessler, especially once they see how calculated of a passer that he can be for a defensive five. And if he starts knocking down some of those shots from deep, which is something that he has clearly worked hard on, the upside gets a lot more interesting. It is an incredibly small sample size, but in the season opener against the Clippers from this past season, he didn't miss a single shot. He went 7 of 7 from the field, he scored 22 points, and he even knocked down 2 threes. There was a game against Portland where he went 3 of 4 from deep too. If Andre Drummond can knock down some threes, then we have to ask ourselves, what's stopping Walker Kessler? You guys are going to hear this and think, okay, who is not your guy? But the proof is on the screen. I have been a Walker Kessler guy since before draft night, and I'm not jumping off of the wagon now that he has Luka Doncic. I do not love the price, given the debt. But if a sign and trade was the only door in, and this was the toll, then it was still a dumb move, but fine, I am all the way in. Let's see what happens. I love the talent of Walker Kessler, but I don't know if I love the talent that is on this roster outside of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. Don't get me wrong, the Lakers did get some solid players, but I'm sort of taking more of a wait-and-see approach to see what they do in Los Angeles. Nevertheless, I will be breaking down a lot of the Lakers' new additions, so subscribe and turn on notifications so that you guys don't miss that. A team making this move for Kessler with all of its picks in the drawer, or honestly any team with more in the war chest than the Lakers have right now, then it sounds a lot better. But swiping the card when you are already this deep in debt is a different thing entirely. That comes with real risk. If the plan is longevity, if you are actually building for the back half of Luka's prime, you need cheap rookie talent on the books to balance out the money up top. And to their credit, I think that they did hit on a good class this year, which I will break down soon too, so that helps. But make no mistake, this is still risky. This is still for sure very risky. I want to ask you guys, was all of this worth losing LeBron James? LeBron and Rich Paul might have thrown some shade talking about the Lakers or building for the future, and LeBron wants to go to a contender and play some meaningful competitive basketball. But I do think that this would have been a roster that would have been perfect for him. You add LeBron to this, and it's filthy. How many games do you guys have the Lakers winning next season? Remember that the rest of the league has been loading up too. Let me know what you guys think of everything down in the comments below. Anyways, there's some more going on in the basketball universe that we have to be covering, so clicking one of the videos that's on the screen right now is a great way to support this channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.